Picture this, you're juggling multiple prescriptions, patient consultations, and endless hours of administrative tasks, all while maintaining a happy work-life balance. It's chaotic, it's stressful, and it's downright exhausting. Or maybe you're a student who's overwhelmed by all your assignments, exams, OSCEs, whilst attending hours and hours of lectures and labs and maintaining an active social life. What if I told you there's a way to streamline your week and reclaim a sense of control over your time? I think I can kickstart that journey. I've created a free PDF guide, 5 steps to streamline your week and add 5 hours to your schedule. In this guide, you'll learn how to optimize your workflow, prioritize your tasks, and carve out precious time for self-care and personal pursuits. Click the link below to grab the guide now. I promise you your future self will thank you for it. Hey, my name is Anisha Patel and I'm obsessed with all things career development. Whether that's navigating through your professional journey, gaining more clarity, identifying your passions, or gaining the confidence to chase your dreams, I'm here to support you to craft a roadmap to success. I am a pharmacist turned entrepreneur who's transformed my passions into purpose. I've grown a podcast that has reached thousands of people across the globe. I'm building an online business, and I've left my 9-to-5 to chase my dreams and build a career that I love. I've walked this path of transformation myself, and now I'm here to share insights, strategies, and stories to help you carve out a career that you love. Career opportunities, personal development, challenges, growth, and building life skills are all things we discuss on this podcast. Whether you're sipping a cup of coffee, taking a walk, or driving in the car, be prepared to be inspired and motivated to step outside of your comfort zone. This is the Pharmacist Diaries podcast.
Oh, welcome to Pharmacist Diaries. First of all, I am super excited for today's episode with John Churchward from Quad Recruitment. So today I am really happy to have a deep dive into kind of 2 aspects. One is to look at the recruitment side in terms of the company and what you guys have to offer for pharmacists within the UK. And then the second side of our conversation in part 2 will be diving deep into LinkedIn and the importance and the value of a really good LinkedIn profile, and also how life is navigating in terms of what LinkedIn has to offer us in terms of finding jobs, what recruiters use it for. And we will have a little bit of a conversation about how to enhance your profile to get yourself noticed, but also enhance your profile to look for jobs and make that connection with other people within your network. So super excited to have you here and really grateful that you reached out to me to get this podcast up and running. So welcome, John.
No, thank you. Super excited to be with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I guess let's kickstart off the episode by talking a little bit about Quad Recruitment and tell us a little bit about the organization and what you guys do.
Yeah, sure. So hi, everyone. My name's John and we are Quad Recruitment. So we're based in Chester. We've been established for since 2015 and we solely specialize within the world of pharmacy. So when it comes to kind of helping candidates and speaking to clients as well. So we like to pride ourselves on being subject experts. We totally get it from both sides. So from what a typical pharmacist is looking for, whether it be kind of like their career development, looking at their IP or anything like that. But then we also see it from the other side as well. So looking at kind of what the struggles that pharmacies are receiving and how to kind of secure that there as well. We have got 2 sites. So we've got one in the UK and one in the US as well. But, you know, UK is my bread and butter, and that is definitely where I base myself. So head up the UK, which is really good. And we totally get that pharmacy at the moment is quite challenging for everybody. But yeah, that's what we do.
Amazing. So tell us a little bit about where people can find information in terms of jobs and also which areas that you focus on within pharmacy as well.
As a pharmacist, I know firsthand how challenging it can be to maintain our health and well-being whilst caring for others. I am a true believer of making the time to look after my physical, mental, and emotional health, and I love the idea of using natural supplements to support me on this journey. That's why I was so excited to find The Naked Pharmacy. Their products are 100% plant-based and naturally sourced, 100% biodegradable, and it feels really safe to know that they are formulated, tested, and manufactured to the same standard as a pharmaceutical product. However, the most important fact to share is that their CEO and founder, Kevin Levers, is a pharmacist with over 35 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. I love that as a community, we can support our pharmacy colleague every time that we purchase a product. As a Pharmacist Diaries listener, you get an exclusive 20% discount off all Naked Pharmacy products using the code PD20. Just visit www.thenakedpharmacy.com and treat yourself to something new.
Yeah, sure. So majority of all of our jobs are advertised online, so through our website, which is quadrecruitment.com. But like all recruiters, we are living and breathing LinkedIn. So this is where you'll probably find us majority of the time. So yeah, my name's John Churchwood, like we said before. Head me up on LinkedIn, connection request, and yeah, so all of our positions are on there as well. But if you're not LinkedIn savvy, which hopefully you are, there is the website, which is quadrecruitment.com.
Perfect. And what type of roles do you advertise within pharmacy within the UK? What are your most popular offerings?
I think everybody will agree with me when I say community pharmacy is kind of the driving force within pharmacy recruitment. So majority of our positions are community-based, so store-based retail. But we do have the odd ones that come in from either industry, so MSL, medical affairs, that kind of thing. Or clinical, so PCN and clinical as well, so hospital-based and also primary care network.
Okay, great. And the hospital jobs must be private rather than NHS?
Yeah, so we have got, we do work with some NHS clients, so we tend to do what we call as off-contract, so that's when they are allowed to engage a third-party recruitment agency to support them. But we do have a lot of private hospitals as well that we are able to support. So it is typically ward-based, but then if you're not looking to kind of go into a ward-based role, we have got the outpatients department as well, which are typically private companies that are based within the hospital.
Okay, perfect. And when we look at community pharmacy, because that's the main offering or the kind of jobs that you see most of the time, are these positions that are permanent or contract versus sort of locum? What do you normally see?
Yeah, so we specialize in permanent. Now, we do support some partners with locums, but majority of our positions are permanent positions. Within permanent community pharmacy, the offering is probably the strongest I've ever seen within the years that I've been here at Quad. So if there is a community pharmacist that is looking to explore new opportunities, I would absolutely say now is the time to kind of spread them feelers out there, because the packages are absolutely insane currently.
Tell us a little bit more about that, because obviously people will hear that comment.
I knew
people will hear that and get quite excited because obviously the economy is changing and the landscape of what's being offered within pharmacy, and when you're looking at your income, anyone would get excited about a slightly bigger salary. So can you dive into a little bit more detail there?
Yeah, of course. So I mean, community pharmacy is a great place for anybody to either move or to start your career as a pharmacist. So we will touch base on the salary, but for kind of newly qualified pharmacists, it's a great place to get the experience, get the additional kind of qualifications that you're looking for. So majority of the community stores this day and age are offering support with IP, so that whether it be fully funded, and they will also really guide you and navigate you through that. We have got some partners that will allow you to be more specialized. So if you're looking for to specialize in kind of like a Macmillan cancer pharmacist or HIV pharmacist, they will allow you to do that, and they will fully support you with that. Now, money makes the world go round, right? So everybody is looking for something a little bit better when we are speaking to them, and salary within community pharmacy is definitely within an all-time high. But when we look at kind of the locum versus permanent, locums will always achieve more than what a permanent position will do. But to give you an idea in terms of the type of thing to expect within community pharmacy in terms of package, So a lot of people are offering what we call a welcome bonus. So that's when you accept a position. It's kind of to entice you to take a position within that company, and that can vary anything from £3,000 to £5,000, and typically that's paid in installments. So after you've finished your probation period, then you will get half of it, and then at the end of year one or year two. Benefits of that is it's a massive bonus for taking a job. Negatives to that is that typically you are tied in for around about 2 years when a welcome bonus is attached to that. So that's just something to bear in mind, and don't be blindsided by the fact that you could potentially get £5,000 for saying yes to a position, because there is a caveat to that. In terms of hourly rate, so locum pharmacists always work on an hourly rate. So when we look at a yearly salary, they want to know, okay, what does that hourly rate look like? And for an experience, when we say about experience, we look at anything 2 years post-grad, and then kind of going in up from that. You can achieve anything from £32 per hour. There is some positions that we're working, which is £34 per hour. Now, as a pharmacist, if you're money driven, then, look at kind of areas that are not so built up. So in a city, you obviously the salary will dictate that. So if you're looking to stay in a city like London, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, then the salary is a little bit less. But if you're crazy enough to go to the Highlands of Scotland, Wales, or down in Cornwall, then you can have a stronger salary of around about £32 per hour. So when you look at that on a weekly basis, and then we look at it on a monthly basis, anything from £60,000 to £65,000 per year, plus the welcome bonus. And you also get the enhancements as well of a yearly bonus as well. So typically 10% of a yearly salary. So, I mean, community pharmacies, they can make a ridiculous amount of money per year. So there is always something better out there. And, if salary is your driver, then absolutely community is the way forward.
Having a career in pharmacy can at times feel like an uphill battle. The constant demands, the pressures, and finishing each day like your to-do list was just as large as it was in the morning. It may leave you questioning if there's more to your professional journey. It's a question that I confront regularly, but one that drives me to make positive changes towards a better working life. Daily and weekly reflection exercises has really helped me to understand my approach to working life, what improvements I can make, and what strategies I can use to turn those draining pressures into opportunities for growth. Let's take a moment to reflect on your professional journey and how you approach your goals. What's working well for you, and where do you see areas for improvement? I have seen success with time blocking, weekly meetings with my husband to synchronize schedules, and task batching. These 3 strategies alone have been game changers towards my productivity and efficiency. If this resonates with you and you'd like to explore this even deeper, immerse yourself in my new quiz, What's Holding You Back from Achieving Your Professional Goals? You will discover one specific area to focus on, and hopefully this will kickstart your journey towards a more rewarding career. It only takes 60 seconds to complete, and the link is below. Let me know how you get on.
Okay, amazing. I did not know the current rates because I don't work in community pharmacies.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. I think last year when I had asked around in terms of friends, and I actually asked in my local high street at what was the Lloyd's, but is no longer a Lloyd's.
Yeah.
The rates were really low. Like you would just about get sort of £20, £21 per hour. And this is when I was considering leaving my hospital role.
To go to community.
I have to take into consideration. I wanted to take into consideration the fact that I do 3 hours of commuting per day and how that impacts my lifestyle, my children, the ability to be at home or do the school drop-offs or whatever. I wanted to just see what the rates were. Plus I thought, if I pick up some additional hours on weekends, like every other Saturday, would that be an option for me? Yeah. And I was quite surprised that obviously the rates were so low within my area, and I'm in Hertfordshire. So it's good to see that those have picked up again.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's no shying away that the pressures of a community pharmacist, they are there. They're not going to go away. And if anything, they probably are going to going to expand. So I think it's about time that community pharmacists get paid for what they're worth, and we're a massive advocate for that. So when we are speaking to our partners, we do emphasize the educating them in terms of what the market is demanding, and rightly so, what pharmacists should be getting paid. Now, it's interesting to hear what the hourly salary that you were saying. So newly qualified pharmacists, they start off at around about 21, 22, 23 pounds per hour. And then obviously, based on years of experience, it does strengthen moving forward. But yeah, we're a massive advocate for homing in on that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And the types of jobs that you have within community pharmacy, do they range from the newly qualified roles all the way to people who are looking for management positions, or maybe even to go as not just managing one store, but a regional manager position, for example? Is there a wide variety?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot of work with newly qualifieds, and even the fourth year graduates as well. So that's sort of about getting them job ready and everything like that. The positions that we have, they do vary. So it's from newly qualified right up to superintendent to area manager. And then there's more kind of specialized. So it might be a superintendent of an outpatients department in a hospital, and then ward based. So a massive variety that we cover. So hopefully, when you check out the positions that we have, there's something for everybody.
Amazing. And I know you're based in Chester, but whereabouts are these jobs generally located? Is it within that area, or are we looking across the whole of UK?
The whole of the UK. So we've got positions
Oh,
in
that's
London.
great.
We've got positions down in Cornwall. So if you like the idea of a very chilled lifestyle next to a beach, Cornwall, I can't rate highly enough. Going into Wales and then the Highlands of Scotland. So if you like to challenge yourself with the weather of the UK, Scotland definitely does get its fair share. And if you're relocated up there, then absolutely, there is positions for you. If you are open to relocating, community pharmacy do support that in terms of relocation package as well. So you can get anything from up to around, I think it's around about £8,000 as well to support that relocation move as well. So all throughout the UK, that we have got positions.
Nice. And what does the recruitment process look like? So someone might go onto the website, find a few jobs. How do they actually submit an application? What does it look like? And I guess outline the process.
Yeah, very, very simple. We have spent a lot of time managing kind of from an applicant's point of view. We totally get it. Pharmacists are super busy. Life in general is super busy. So we've really reduced the processes that you need to take to apply. It's very simple in terms of you see a job, you want more information about it, and then you literally just apply online with uploading a CV. So that would be classed as your profile. And then one of the consultants will receive that, give you a call, have a conversation with you, and then share information about who that partner might be, and then go into more kind of information in terms of the position. And then the process there is very straightforward. We submit your application to our partners, and then it's just interview stage, which typically is around about a stretch of two-stage interview, but we always encourage a one-stage interview.
So that makes it simple. You just got to have your CV good to go, because obviously,
just an up-to-date CV.
my background
absolutely,
is yeah. My background is with the NHS, so it's quite a extensive application process in terms of the online form that you need to complete, which takes a lot of time, energy, and effort, especially the personal statement that comes at the end. So it's useful to know that if you need to apply for a role through Quad Recruitment, that it's a few clicks of a button to get yourself noticed, or Quad Recruitment identify that you're looking for something, and that phone call is probably the key piece of identifying
100%.
more about the candidate, where they want to live, what type of roles they're looking for, how much experience they have. There may be certain criteria in terms of, maybe they don't want to work weekends, or they want part-time hours versus full-time hours. So identifying all that information is crucial through a virtual or a phone call, and then helping them to identify which employers would potentially suit them, and getting them an interview for the job.
Yeah, 100%. And we've done a lot of work with our partners where kind of last year everybody was very much no, you do have to work weekends, and we totally get it. Work-life balance is super important. So there is a lot more flexibility going into this year for sure. In terms of if you're not wanting to work weekends, then we discuss that with our partners. And there is a lot more flexibility to enable you to have a better work-life balance. But yeah, we've tried to make it as simple as possible, and it is crucial just that telephone conversation, because not only it allows you for us to make sure that you're right for our partner, but ultimately an interview
Mm.
is two-way, right? So it's making sure that the role is right for you and it's ticking all your boxes and all your needs as well.
I love that you said that, actually. It's a really key point. An interview is a two-way process because a lot
Yeah,
of
for sure.
people are of the kind of opinion that when you go into an interview, you know, the employer is interviewing you, and that's, the standard. But I've
Hmm.
been
Hmm.
recently even thinking about this myself, is that interview is actually an opportunity. And I'm, 13 years qualified, and it's taken me some time to shift that mindset to say, actually, it's not just about them identifying information about you. It's you understanding whether or not you're going to fit into that organization, whether you like the people who are on the interview panel. What kind of vibe do you get? What does your gut instinct tell you when you're there? All of
Yeah.
those things are really important. And of course, you only really get an opportunity to ask questions at the end. That's the standard kind of process when it comes to to any interview. But having really important questions that are valuable for you to learn more about that organization, and get to know them to make sure that they're the right fit for you, is also just as important.
Yeah, I mean, when we also do what we call interview prep as well. So all of our candidates before going into the interview, they're fully aware of the type of questions that's going to be asked. And it's so important to make sure that the interviewee is going to be asking you questions about you, and it's super important for you to ask questions as well. And like what you said is making sure that company is the exact company where you see yourself fitting in. And exactly like the vibe as well. You want to make sure that it is the right move for you, because no one likes to change jobs, and it's a very very important aspect of your life. So making sure that it's the right place for you is super super important.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Have you got any tips for the people who might be listening or watching this episode in terms of interview prep? What have you seen as the most commonly asked community questions that come up?
Yeah, I think a majority of the questions are, where do you see yourself going? Everybody hates interview questions. They're not nice, and it's the unknown as well. But it's literally just being transparent. If you want to be an IP pharmacist, and that's one of your driving factors, it's one of your driving factors, and it's making sure that you make that they're aware of hearing that. But yeah, it's more about the type of pharmacist you are. What do you enjoy doing? Do you like doing services? Are you more kind of, do you like the patient facing aspect of it? And just be yourself. Everybody, we understand everybody feels the pressure of an interview. It's that word, isn't it? That I'm going for an interview. You automatically put so much pressure on yourself, where the partners that we have is we again, and I know I keep going back about educating them, because everybody is kind of stuck in their own ways in terms of that. An interview should be so strict. These are the questions, either set questions, and that's the way it is. Where it's more about having an informal conversation. You're a pharmacist. You know what you're doing. You've done your degree. You've done your pre-reg year, and it's understanding in terms of the type of pharmacist you are, what makes you tick as a pharmacist, but ultimately if that's the right company for you. So, asking open questions, speaking to the interviewees, making sure that, how do they get where they are? Typically the people that are interviewing are pharmacists themselves, unless you look at the bigger corporates where it is their recruitment team. And it's showing an interest in terms of the store as well, which is super important, on how many items that are they doing. Where do they see that store going? What's the expectations for a pharmacist there? Staffing levels is huge. You want to make sure that you've got the support from an ACT, dispensers and everything like that as well. But yeah, just ask as many questions as possible. And this is why we do the interview prep. So you're fully prepared in terms of what questions are going to be fired at you, but ultimately, you know, the questions that you should be asking as a candidate as well.
That's really useful, because I think that's a tough kind of section of the interview, especially if you're newly qualified, because you don't really know what your boundaries are as to what you can and cannot ask. Like, you've made a comment that you can ask the people on the panel of the interview, you know, what their career journey is like, or what their journey has been within that organization. You could potentially ask, well, how long have you worked here? You know, if you can
100%.
see that they've worked there for, you know, 7 or 8 years, you know, that loyalty to an organization is always, it gives you a bit of trust, doesn't it? It gives you a little bit more of a feel for the fact that they must be happy where they are if they've stayed in the organization for a decade, for an example. My old boss in the Evelina has been working there for 29 years, I think, this year. And
I think that definitely adds substance to it. Yeah.
You know, he's so loyal to the organization, and he absolutely genuinely loves what he does. And identifying that information about the team and who's working there, and like you said, even knowing what your support network's going to be like, especially if you're newly qualified, it's quite hard to go into a job knowing that you're the only pharmacist who's working there. And it's nice to know that there are technicians or counter staff that can support you on your day-to-day, you know, work life. I've been on locums where I feel relief knowing that I'll have a tech with me, because they know all the systems. If that's a shop I've not worked at before, they know all the systems. They know how to problem solve. They know about the inventory. They know the computer systems that I might not have used before. And they are an amazing support system if you're doing a locum job. So those types of questions are really useful for newly qualified pharmacists who are potentially listening to this episode to understand, and know that it's okay to ask things that are going through your mind and you feel a little bit nervous to ask. But in my head, it's like, what's the harm of asking? You know, what's the worst that can happen if you ask a question that you're not really sure about? Just do it.
Yeah, of course. And again, you know, it's having that clarity and transparency as well. You know, that, you know, when you leave that interview, if you get a job offer, that you know exactly what you're walking into. But yeah, you know, ask as many questions as possible, and don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, don't be afraid to ask, why has this position become available? Is it because somebody's moved to a busier store, maybe, or maybe someone's had a promotion within that company, or maybe, you know, the pharmacist has left to explore different opportunities. So, you know, that's something that we definitely push for, is ask those questions, because ultimately, like I said before, you know, you are being interviewed, but it's your opportunity to interview the company and the panel, and making sure that it's the right fit for you.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great way to kind of end this podcast episode with regards to what Quad Recruitment has to offer, the types of jobs, and looking at the actual application process. So I appreciate the information, and everything about Quad Recruitment will be in the show notes for this episode, especially the link to your website, and I will share your LinkedIn profile, which would be great. So if people want to look for opportunities or have a conversation with John, then feel free to reach out via LinkedIn.